Sister Wives Kody Brown is real reason Maddie dumped podcast? Is Kody Brown the real reason why his daughter, Maddie Brush Brown, dumped her podcast, The Authentic Society? The Sister Wives star was so excited to share her voice, and she dished a lot. Then, out of the blue, Maddie released a statement that she was exiting. So, is her father to blame? Keep reading for more details. Kody Brown real reason Maddie dumped podcast? It is no secret that Kody Brown is estranged from many of his children, mainly the ones he had with the OG3. He blames his ex-wives, Janelle Brown and Cristin Brown Woolley. In Kody's mind, they gossiped and turned his children against him and his fourth and last remaining wife, Robin Brown. Yet, the kids point fingers at their father and his lack of accountability. He has all but abandoned them and expects more than he is willing to give. One daughter who had no problem cutting ties was Maddie Brown Brush. That is his child with Janelle, and she resides in North Carolina with her husband, Caleb, and their 3 children. She is currently expecting their 4th child and was once close to her father. So close, in fact, that she named her 2nd child after Kody. Unfortunately, the relationship started to dwindle after baby number 2, and Maddie made a decision. Her kids have no idea who her father is and will not have him come in and out of their lives. Kody did not even know Maddie was expecting baby number 3, and she was fine with that. Yet, have the tides turned, and has Kody Brown reconciled with Maddie? According to a Reddit thread, he was spotted around North Carolina, which made fans wonder if he was visiting his kids. It also made them question if he and Maddie had reconciled. She had mentioned she was connecting with those she never thought she would, hence why she was stepping back from her podcast. Could that person be Kody? It would make sense she would want to stop spilling tea to mend the relationship. Moving on or over it? Did Sister Wives fans believe that Maddie Brown Brush gave up her podcast to move on with Kody Brown? Or did they believe that she was over it and simply stopped for other reasons? Finally, Maddie is pregnant with 3 young children to care for. Leaving the podcast could very well be connected to that. I highly doubt Maddie pulled back in the podcast because of Kody. She'd gaff about him. She's about to have her 4th baby, so I'm sure she's focused on that and her other kiddos, plus the farm. Kody was spotted at a Lowe's, but it was 40 minutes from where Maddie lives. She is also known to do a lot of projects herself, so likely does not need him. It is more likely she left because of her family and other factors than Kody. Maddie Brown Brush had always been one of the quieter voices in the Brown family's sprawling chaos. The daughter of Kody and Janelle Brown, Maddie managed to carve out a relatively normal life for herself away from the cameras that followed her polygamist family's every move on Sister Wives. However, her brief foray into podcasting earlier this year sparked unexpected controversy and raised questions about her relationship with her father, Kody Brown. The podcast, titled Brush Up on Life, was Maddie's attempt to share her journey as a young wife, mother, and former member of a polygamist family. Early episodes were well received, featuring candid conversations about motherhood and faith. But as Maddie began delving into her upbringing within the Brown family, the tone shifted, and so did the public's perception. It all started with episode 6, ominously titled, The Burden of the Brown Name. Maddie spoke openly about the challenges of growing up under the watchful eye of reality TV cameras and the intense scrutiny that came with being a Brown. Listeners were riveted as Maddie hinted at unresolved family tensions, particularly with her father. Though she refrained from naming names, her comments about being pushed to conform to someone else's vision of family didn't go unnoticed. The internet quickly exploded with speculation that she was referring to Kody. By episode 8, titled Breaking Away, the veil of subtlety had lifted entirely. Maddie recounted her decision to leave Las Vegas and later Flagstaff, determined to find a life beyond the familial vortex of Kody's ever-shifting dynamics. When your worth is measured by how well you play into someone else's narrative, you start to lose yourself, she said. I realized I wasn't living for me. I was living to meet expectations that weren't even my own. The reaction was swift and intense. Loyal Sister Wives fans, already accustomed to Kody's polarizing persona, debated whether Maddie's podcast revelations were a justified airing of grievances or a betrayal of family loyalty. Even within the Brown family, lines were drawn. Janelle reportedly supported Maddie, appreciating her daughter's courage to speak her truth. Meanwhile, Kody's reaction was, predictably, volatile. Sources close to the family claimed Kody felt blindsided by Maddie's podcast. He's always believed that family issues should stay within the family, one insider shared. Hearing Maddie's perspective so publicly hurt his pride more than anything. He sees it as an attack on his leadership. Tensions reached a boiling point after the release of episode 10, The Patriarch Problem, where Maddie directly criticized Kody's approach to leadership. Without naming him, she described a father figure who often prioritized control over connection and demanded loyalty without earning it. It's hard to respect someone who expects total obedience but doesn't offer emotional support in return, Maddie said, her voice steady but laced with emotion. Fans and critics alike began to dissect Maddie's words, many applauding her bravery while others accused her of stirring the pot for attention. The media frenzy that followed included headlines like Kody Brown's daughter takes him down and Maddie Brush, the truth teller the Browns didn't see coming. Amid this maelstrom, Maddie made the surprising decision to abruptly end the podcast after just 12 episodes. Her final episode, titled Signing Off, left fans with more questions than answers. I started this podcast to share my journey, Maddie said in her farewell episode. But as it's grown, it's become clear that it's bringing up things I'm not ready to fully process, let alone share with the world. For now, I need to focus on my family and my own healing. Speculation immediately began about what or who had prompted Maddie to pull the plug. Some fans pointed to the increased scrutiny from tabloids and social media trolls, but others suspected Kody's involvement. Rumors swirled that Kody had confronted Maddie in a heated phone call, demanding she stop airing the family's dirty laundry. Whether this was true or not, Maddie's decision to step back from the public eye seemed to signal that the pressure had become too much. Meanwhile, Kody's reaction played out in real time on social media. Though he didn't directly address Maddie's podcast, his cryptic posts about loyalty and family obligations spoke volumes. Respect is a two-way street, he tweeted shortly after Maddie's final episode aired. In another post, he wrote, "True family doesn't turn their back on you, no matter how hard things get." While Kody appeared to be taking the moral high ground, his words only fueled the narrative that he had driven Maddie to end her podcast. Critics argued that Kody's penchant for control was at the heart of the issue, just as Maddie had suggested. Supporters of Maddie rallied around her, encouraging her to continue sharing her story when she felt ready. Janelle, ever the mediator, tried to maintain a semblance of peace. In an Instagram post, she praised Maddie's bravery while also expressing hope for family healing. "I'm proud of my daughter for speaking her truth," Janelle wrote. "But I also believe in the power of forgiveness and understanding. Family is complicated, and ours is no exception." Cristin Brown, who had long been critical of Kody's behavior, publicly sided with Maddie. "Sometimes the truth is uncomfortable, but it's necessary," Cristin said during an Instagram Live. "I've always encouraged my kids to speak their minds, and I'm proud of Maddie for doing just that." As the dust settled, Maddie's decision to end the podcast left a lasting impact on both the Brown family and their fans. For many, her candid revelations served as a mirror, reflecting the cracks in Kody's patriarchal facade. For others, it was a reminder that every family, no matter how famous, has its secrets and struggles. While Maddie has since retreated from the spotlight, focusing on her husband Caleb and their 2 children, the legacy of her podcast endures. In many ways, it forced the Brown family to confront truths they'd long avoided, sparking conversations about loyalty, independence, and the complexities of navigating life within a reality TV dynasty. Whether or not Kody was the real reason Maddie ended her podcast remains a matter of debate. But one thing is clear, Maddie's voice, however brief, made an indelible mark on the Brown family's story. And for those who listened, her courage to speak her truth will not be forgotten.